going to make one of my favorite desserts. I like to make this when the weather starts to get cold. Specifically talking about Basque cheesecake. And that's prepared a little bit differently from your regular cheesecake. So for example, you wouldn't put it in a water bath. You just cook it kind of in a springform pan. When it bakes, it creates this kind of layer, caramelized layer, and it almost looks burnt, but it's not. It does add a little bit of a burnt taste, but that's part of what makes it delicious. Furthermore, I typically serve my recipe, the way I do it, and the way I serve it. I typically serve it with some sort of caramel sauce. And so you can check out the link in the description box for the full recipe. But this version that I'm making today, I'm going to use a sweet potato to make the caramel sauce, just to switch things up a little bit. And it freezes well too, provided that you store it correctly.
So the first thing you're going to do is get your cream cheese in order. You'll get 4 packets and preferably full cream, and beat those either in a stand mixer or in a bowl with a electric hand mixer until smooth, beat it until smooth. And then you'll add your eggs, 5 eggs as per my recipe, 1 by 1. And then you'll follow that with the egg yolks, just 2 of them. And then you just don't need to overmix, just beat until combined. So to make sure that everything is evenly distributed and mixed, you want to make sure that you scrape the sides of your bowl and your paddle. And then as for the orange zest, you can use lime or lemon if you choose. I prefer orange.
Vanilla. Maple extract. And the zest. You're also going to add your fresh cream and your salt and just fold that in. No need to beat. Okay, so now you're going to put in 1/4 cup of flour, which is going to help thicken your batter before you transfer it.
As for the cinnamon or any spices you choose to add, just be careful with the amount because that's going to affect the color of your cheesecake.
Go ahead and give that a stir, and careful, since this flour, you don't want it to go over, because you can pulsate it like this just to be safe. Okay, let's not overmix this. Time to transfer it. Now if you need to reposition this, you can, just to try to cover all the sides, but it's not really going to make a huge difference. And you also don't want to fill this up to the top because it's going to puff up a bit, so you might most likely are going to have some left over, and you can use that to make other little mini cheesecakes. Okay, so we're going to pour. Ooh. If you feel like it can take more, you can add a little bit more. I think mine can take more. I'm just looking at the space between the top and where the cheesecake starts. And it's okay if a little bit of it spills into the sides. Don't worry about that. This will help prevent it from spilling too much. Cheesecake is ready to go in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour 15 minutes.
So while your cheesecake is baking, you can go ahead and get started with your caramel. You melt some sugar and butter down until it's like an amber color, low heat, and then you add your pumpkin spice and some salt and some vanilla. And then you can add your sweet potato at this point. I actually roasted mine first, but you can also boil it. And then once you've mixed that in, you can add the cream, cook it down again to just make sure that everything is combined. And then as a final step, you can add your baking soda to help ensure you get a smoother sauce. You can skip this step, but I highly recommend that you do that. Then you can set it aside to cool. At this point, your cheesecake should be ready. As you can see, I actually ended up making a few extra from what I had left.
Okay, so it's the next day now, and the cheesecake is ready to slice open. I'm really excited. I'm gonna heat up the sauce a little bit. Since it's been in the fridge, it's a little stiff, so I want to get it flowing, and then serve it with the cheesecake. If you did the sauce right, heat it up right, it should look like this. So it looked lumpy yesterday, but like you can strain it if you want. So that's what I did, and now it's got some nice smooth sweet potato caramel sauce here. Oh, we're now going to release the cheesecake. And if you have like a homemade box, you can store it there. And if you want to freeze it, you can either slice it and then freeze it, or you can just freeze it whole. You wrap it up in cling film foil, and then you put it in the box. So, remember I said you need to use one of these springform pans. So what you're gonna do is release it like that. And there you go, you got your cheesecake. And then you're going to loosen this up. Now, like I said, this is Basque cheesecake, so you're not gonna have perfect edges, but that's fine. It's part of what gives it that kind of rustic feel. I usually just keep the bottom, and then, just to help keep it together. But now you can go ahead and slice it. Looks like it will look pretty good. I'm trying to get the most photogenic piece. And there you go, Basque cheesecake. Looks pretty good to me. So you just want to slide it. And there you go. All right, and then we can add the sauce.
Just be aware that if you do add even like 3-4 minutes, it makes a difference and can affect the consistency of your cheesecake.
If you want to plate it, you can. Add fruit if you want. Glorious. Look at that.